The Titanic, Part 6 of the Ships of Tarshish series. The Titanic was the largest ship in the world when she was launched in 1912. She represented the latest in human achievement at the time. Great Britain had grown strong and powerful since the Reformation, but she had used her power and influence to aggrandise herself, and in particular, Britain was marked by the love of money. The spiritual freedom that the Reformation brought had not translated into freedom and spiritual growth for ordinary people. The class system still meant that people's lives were hidebound by the social class they were born into. The Titanic was built in Belfast, Ireland. Belfast became synonymous with religious sectarianism. The Reformation should have meant freedom of religious conscience for everybody, but instead, in many areas of the country, it had resulted in hatred and mistrust between Catholics and Protestants. The Titanic prophetically marked the end of the British Empire. The faults with the Titanic are well known, but it is interesting to note how the faults with the ship mirrored the spiritual failings of the nation. Many people at the time were blinded by their faith in shipbuilding technology, including the captain, Edward Smith, and the chairman of White Star Line, Bruce Ismay. This reflected a transference of faith in the nation from the Bible to human achievement. The steel from the Titanic was about 10 times more brittle than modern steel when tested at freezing temperature. This reflected the brittleness of people's faith in God at the time. The Titanic did not have enough lifeboats. This reflected the lack of concern for saving souls in the church at large. The lookouts at the time of the collision, Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee, maintained during the inquiries that they were informed they were to have no binoculars during the voyage. This reflected the lack of prophetic watchmen in the church. As we all know, the Titanic sank on her maiden voyage from Southampton, striking an iceberg on 15th of April 1912. About 2,224 passengers and crew were on board. More than 1,500 died. She had been warned by radio of the pack ice in the area by several ships, including the SS Californian. The Titanic not only ignored the warnings, but Chief Wireless Officer Jack Phillips sent the Californian a rebuke for warning her about the ice. Similarly, Great Britain had received many warnings about her spiritual state from such preachers as Charles Spurgeon. However, she not only ignored the warnings, but pilloried the preachers. The Californian stopped for the night because of the ice, but the Titanic ploughed on at 22 knots and met her doom. One interesting piece of research on the families of the Titanic passengers showed a difference between British and American families. The descendants of the American passengers were able to improve their social status and become upwardly mobile. The descendants of the British passengers tended to stay in the same social class over the generations. This is where the fruits of the Reformation succeeded in America but failed in Britain. Americans were able to pursue their dreams and destiny, whereas the British families found it harder to do so. The dream of the Reformers was for individuals to pursue their own destiny with God. This dream struggled in Great Britain, and in some ways the mantle passed to the United States. If you've enjoyed this video, you can find more information at prophecy-workshop.com. Thank you for listening.